Okay, now I think I'm the host. So just to let everybody know, this is being recorded. So anybody who wasn't able to make the meeting will be able to watch what we're doing. So basically what we are doing today is we are going to talk about paper 2. We're going to practice rhetorical analysis and see if anybody has any questions about what this new unit is about and what the expectations are. So we'll start. Does anybody have any questions? It would be helpful to either unmute yourself or turn your cameras on, please. I'm not going to make you turn them on, but it would just, it's a little easier to teach when I see your faces. Okay. Yeah, so does anybody have any questions about any of the material, any of the new material that we've covered?
Just wanted to ask, when is the second paper due?
It is due, I think, in about 3 weeks.
Okay.
Let me look on Moodle real quick.
Do you think this one is like a little bit more complicated than the career essay?
Yes, and that's why we're having the live session, to make sure that we understand what rhetorical analysis is, what the point of rhetorical analysis is. And I know that I posted the videos, but sometimes it just helps to just practice, Okay, so we are
Myron said March 27th, correct?
probably March 28th, because March 27th is a Saturday.
Yes.
So we are in week 8, 9. It's week 11. So we are in week 8 right now. So in 3 weeks from this Sunday, it'll be due. So let's see. I think actually, oh, that doesn't seem right. Yeah, either the 28th or the April 4th. I think it'll be due March 28th.
Also, are we gonna do like a peer review like we did with the career essay?
Yes, we do peer reviews for both papers.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, of course. Anybody else before we jump in? Okay, so just to go over paper 2 a little bit more, what you'll be doing is finding an article or an informative video like a TED Talk or something along those lines. And it could be about anything that you want, anything that you're interested in. So if you want to do something serious like schools reopening or the coronavirus or the vaccine, that's totally fine. Or if you want to do something fun about music culture or a new movie coming out or something that's kind of a mix of both, like reopening restaurants or something, you're welcome to do anything that you find interesting, as long as it's like, I don't know, school appropriate-ish. If you have any questions, of course, you can email me. We'll also have a forum where you pick your article and you post about it and, mention why you're interested in that topic. And that will be coming up in I think next week. But so what we do when we rhetorically analyze is we look at the argument that the article is making or the video or whatever you choose. So you'll be looking at the article, you'll be looking for the audience and how that audience is, how the argument is being made for the audience. So we're going to practice the vocab words today that were in the lecture last week. So ethos, pathos, logos, and kairos. Can anybody tell me what any of those words mean?
Ethos is for credibility. Pathos is like emotional appeal.
Mm-hmm.
And logos is for lot or for the facts or any like logic.
Mm-hmm.
And then kairos, I think it's like the time and like the best time and place to say something.
Yeah, that's totally right. Good job. So once this unit is done, you'll probably know those words like you know your name. We're going to be using them a lot in the homework and in the lectures and stuff that we have, and they're going to be the backbone of your paper. So you'll be, using them and using those words to describe the argument that you are looking at. So even though not everything looks like an argument, another way we can think about rhetorical analysis or argument is the purpose or what it's trying to prove. So even like the example I gave in the videos last week is like the way you dress or the way you wear your hair doesn't feel like an argument, not like an argument that you would have maybe with your siblings or your friends or your parents, when you're trying to make a point. This is more of a subtle thing that you're making a statement, but you might not be thinking of it as an argument. So, well, first of all, I'm trying out a new webcam, and it's not the view that I thought it was going to be, but I actually like dressed up today and have my regular professor clothes on, which, I never wear anymore because I'm at home, but you want to look the part. So I'm trying to say that like, I'm a professional with, my blazer and sweater and necklace and everything. So, and I know I made a similar argument in the video, so this might feel a little bit repetitive, but it gives you an idea of how we are trying to say something or make statements even when we aren't conscious of it. So today what we're going to do is we are going to practice looking at arguments through different media. So in the email last night, I asked you guys to find maybe something that we can look at together as a group and talk about the ethos, pathos, logos, and kairos and who the audience is. So does anybody have anything they would like to share? So when I said media, it could be a picture, a video, advertisements. Advertisements work really well. It's good practice. No? Okay, well, give me 1 second. I can pull something up real quick. Okay. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. If I can figure out how to do that on Zoom.
I think you click like a green button in the,
Oh, yeah, right in the middle. Hello.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, and I was able to turn closed caption on.
Cool.
Okay, so we are going to watch the Frozen trailer, which I'm sure you guys are probably at least familiar with the franchise, whether or not you've seen the movie. When you don't need to have seen the movie to be able to analyze it. So here we go.
Elsa, the past is not what it seems. You must find the truth. Go north, across the enchanted lands, and into the unknown. But be careful. We have always feared Elsa's powers were too much for this world. Now we must hope they are enough.
I won't let anything happen to her.
Okay, so first of all, who do we think the audience is for the movie trailer?
I guess for,
Go ahead, Anthony.
Me?
Yep.
Oh, all right. Since it's Disney, it's probably more aimed at children.
Okay. So that's definitely the primary audience. So do we think that this movie is geared towards anybody else?
probably like family, anyone like that wants to watch Disney, I guess.
So just for future reference, we try not to say everybody or anybody because it's very broad. There's no possible way that anything can be for everybody unless it's oxygen. And we don't really see that marketed. So you're right, though. It's definitely geared towards, so Anthony's right in saying that the primary audience is children, and then we see more elements that make it look like a family movie. So the suspense, probably the fact that it's a sequel, lead to it being like appealing for adults as well. So when we make movies like the SpongeBob movie, there isn't as many elements there that are going to appeal to parents. Like how many of you guys watched SpongeBob as a kid? All right, well, I can only see one of you, so Anthony knows what I'm talking about. So anyway, um SpongeBob is definitely a kid show. And I don't know about you guys, but my parents would get super annoyed when my sister and I would sit and watch SpongeBob for like those Saturday afternoon like marathons. And they would just be like, can you stop? Right? Like Anthony, did you experience similar things?
Well, sort of, but I never had cable, so
Uh well,
yeah.
yeah, growing up we had cable, and in fact my parents put TVs in our rooms so we would leave them alone. Like we could watch our dumb kid stuff and then they can watch my dad would watch golf all the time, which to me is way worse than SpongeBob could ever be. So anyway, like when we look at elements like things that come from Disney movies, we see things that could appeal to a wider range of audiences. Like, so when you take your kid to the movies to see a Disney movie, there's going to be things there to be appealing to parents, and that's who's going to pay to see the movie. And Disney wants that family atmosphere. So yeah, I think she left. Anyway, so yeah, you guys are all definitely on the right page with your audience analysis. So let's take a step further. And so when we have the audience, so is the audience being what are the appeals that Disney is using to be persuasive towards the audience? So think of ethos, pathos, logos, kairos. What elements do we see in that trailer?
I think pathos because it attracts kids towards like they enjoy watching the movie and uh, they feel happy, excited about it.
Yeah, there's definitely some excitement.
Mhm.
What else? Where else do we see pathos? Because there's definitely a lot of that there.
Oops. I'll be back. I need to bring my charger.
Sure, no problem. Okay, so what other emotions do we see in the trailer?
Probably fear when she like gets knocked out by the water.
Yeah, so it's suspenseful, like we want to see what happens. What else?
I was just gonna say that they have a lot of ethos because it's Disney. Everybody knows Disney makes good movies, right?
Yeah, definitely. So the brand or the company of Disney is known for making a specific or known for making good movies, or having or like delivering on like excitement and joy and lots of positive elements that we want to see in movies. Good. Okay, so on that note, the fact that it is a sequel, how does that play into ethos?
Well, you kind of already feel like it's gonna be a good movie because if you already watched the first one, then you kind of like that's the credibility, I guess. Just saying like, oh, if the first one was good, I guess the second one could be also good. So.
Right, like we have established characters. We know what Anna's like and what Elsa's like, and we've seen the love story between, is it Olaf or is that the snowman? Oops. Frozen is a little bit beyond my time, and I don't have any kid nieces or nephews or cousins or anything, so I missed out on Frozen. Um, anyway, so what about the voice actors? What do we know about them, or who are they?
I think they're kind of famous. Like the people that make the voices they're famous, I think.
Yeah, I think she's blonde and she's from Royal Oak.
The one that makes Anna's voice, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know her name. I forgot.
Neither do I. Not off the top of my head. Well, anyway, the actors that do the voices are famous, and I think Chris.
Kristen Bell. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Kristen Bell. But I think the guy is somebody famous too, like Chris Pratt, maybe. I don't know. The point is that the actors have ethos as well. So that is not only going to help with, or so basically, the fact that they're famous actors will attract an older audience that will know who they are and know, you know, Kristen Bell from like Bad Moms or something else, you know. What else? Okay, so we said ethos, pathos. Do we see any logos? The answer is yes, but you just gotta where. Okay, so let's think about the last thing that we see in the trailer. And logos is provable facts or information. So when would we go see this movie?
Oh, I guess the credits say that, like the date when it comes out and like, yeah.
Yeah, so it
Through
gives
this
you something to plan for and look forward to. And so you know to mark your calendar for November and to wait for this very exciting sequel to come out in November.
Mm.
Was it November 2019 or 2020?
Not sure.
2019.
2019. Okay. Because I know that obviously the pandemic changed the way we go to movies and look forward to things. So, I mean, we can see how our culture has changed with movies, you know, and I think that kind of plays into you know, how things are marketed and how arguments are made and how the appeals are being used, you know, because everything is so different now. Okay, do we have anything else we want to add to the Frozen trailer analysis? Okay, so basically, this is what you're going to be doing for your paper. You're going to go through the who the audience is and the rhetorical appeals. And also in your paper, you're going to give a summary of the what you're analyzing. So obviously, like, we can't all sit and watch the trailer or read the article or whatever you're looking at. So you'll want to summarize it. You'll have an introduction. You'll want to summarize it, give any necessary background information if you have to, and then talk about audience and then go into each rhetorical appeal. So since we all watched it together, we don't need to actually quote the movie or the trailer, but you'll want to be quoting your source a lot in your paper because you want to pull certain things out and say, this is where we see logos, or like, yeah, you don't want to just say, this is where we see logos. You want to show us where the logos is and explain to us why this is logos or why this is ethos or, anything like that. Okay, so let's take a look at one more piece of media so you guys can pick something out. And I know technically classes ended if we go by the time on sale. So if anybody has to go, that's not a big deal. We'll probably do one more, see if anybody else has any questions, and then call it a day. So we're just waiting for somebody to pick something that we can analyze. When you get something, you can share your screen. It might say that you need to ask permission, and then I'll just grant permission, however that works.
I found green eggs and ham.
Okay. Let's take a look at that.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. How do I share my screen?
If you scroll down to the bottom and like hover your mouse over the like, I don't know, bar, there should be a little green button that says share screen.
Says you disabled it.
Are you seeing it?
Yeah, I see it, but it says you disabled it.
Oh, I don't know how to fix that.
I can share my screen. I just found a video from an Apple, like it's an advertising video. kind of like of that.
Okay, well, why don't you try and then we'll see what happens.
Okay. You're disabled. It says you can share the screen.
Let me see. Okay, so either I think I fixed it, so either one of you guys can share. I kind of want to do green eggs and ham. Is that okay? All right, so oh, this is the whole story.
Should I keep going?
Yeah, can you close that more videos box?
Yeah, it'll close when I play it.
Okay, yeah. We'll watch a little bit of it. All right, so let's talk about this video. And you can unshare your screen. Okay, so who do we think the audience is for Green Eggs and Ham?
I feel like children again.
Yeah, definitely kids. Why do you think a parent or an adult would buy this book?
Probably because they want to use it to like teach it or like to give it to like a kid, or probably it's like a teacher who wants to use it.
Okay. How long do you think this book has been around?
Not sure. Maybe 6 months, 7 months.
Probably longer than that.
I'm not sure about that.
It's been around for a long time. So
Mhm.
there's a chance that like your parents or maybe even your grandparents read this book and it's kind of been passed down through generations. So what would that be an example of?
Cairo?
Not quite. So what you said is that is actually like the opposite of Kairos. So Kairos has a very specific time and place. Like for example, memes, or like we just made it through an election last November that has kind of taken over our lives for a little while. But a lot of that news and information will only make sense during that very specific time period. Like as we talked about the debates and stuff. So that information probably won't make sense in the future the same way it did in that very specific cultural moment. Or like different words and terms that we have today in 2021 um like talking about the pandemic and stuff. So even a year ago, that wouldn't have made sense. Like on, March 8th, 2020, we had no idea that we would be in lockdown or doing virtual classes or, wearing masks all the time. Like none of that was part of our vernacular or like way of life. And now, I mean, personally, I have like nightmares where I go out in public and I forget my mask and, and then I'm terribly embarrassed. It's like one of those, you know, show up without pants dreams, but like now it's a face mask. So, never in my wildest dreams would I imagine having these kinds of dreams. So that's a really good example of how Kairos works. It's very time, place specific. So Anthony, I'm really glad that you brought up that idea of like, so timeless is like the opposite of Kairos, but it's very common for students to get that kind of confused. So I'm actually glad you brought that up, and now we have this little side chat. Okay, so back to what I was saying before. So if this book has been around for years, and probably has been generational, what would that be an example of? What rhetorical appeal?
Maybe ethos.
Yeah, it's definitely ethos because it has a reputation to be like a children's classic. So another way to think of ethos is thinking about reputation. So you can kind of use the words credibility and reputation interchangeably when you think about ethos. So that might kind of help you remember it or interpret it. So in the same vein, what else could we say that sort of generational or love for the book could be?
Wait, what was the question again?
So thinking about how the book could be generational and that a lot of people could have used it or like read it, and they read it as a kid, so they read it to their children, and so on and so forth. What could that be an example of?
Pathos, because they are like emotional. They find it like they enjoy reading that, and they want their kids to enjoy reading that too.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, that's definitely an example of pathos. And what's interesting is that the same element, so its credibility is also its emotional appeal. So when we do rhetorical analysis, it's important to note that like elements can be more than one appeal. So we see things that could be logos and ethos, or ethos and pathos, or pathos and logos. So that one might seem kind of weird for something to be emotional and logic, because that's sort of like opposite of each other in a way. But if you have like a statistic that makes you feel something, so if there's something like when we read the statistics of like how many deaths there's been with coronavirus, or how many people have been infected, like those numbers are so high and so crazy, like it's shocking, or it should make you feel sad, or some people feel depressed over those numbers. So it's a piece of information that is provable logical facts, but also gives you an emotional sort of reaction. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so like if you have things in your paper that like, or you have elements that can go in more than one category, you can put those same elements in your paper like multiple times. So, so that's something to make note of. Okay, so do we see any logos in looking at Green Eggs and Ham?
Probably like the dates that it was published or the author or any like facts that comes out from the book.
Yeah, we can definitely count those. That being said, it's not a huge appeal. So even though those things exist, they might not like draw the reader in. So that's something to make note of. Something else that can be said is like the bright colors, like on the cover. So when Anthony first started playing the video, we saw like this bright orange and then the bright green. Those kind of affect our emotions and will draw us in. Like the bright colors will make us interested. And just like in Frozen, we see like the dark background. We know that there's something kind of ominous or like, I don't know, mysterious or even like scary. Not quite scary. I mean, it's a Disney movie, but like, you know what I mean. So things like colors, font choices, those are all things that have like are part of the larger argument and can be used for interpreting what's happening. So do you guys have any more questions or anything so far?
I was just wondering if we're gonna learn any other type of appeals or rhetorical strategies that we could use in our paper.
So we're focusing on those 4 appeals, like the ethos, logos, pathos, and kairos. And like those are the traditional appeals that you know, Plato wrote about. So anything aside from that is like not a traditional rhetorical analysis. So those are the ones that we focus on. So why do you think it's important for us to understand rhetorical analysis? Like, why would we be learning this in this class?
Because that way we can like learn how to like write in a way that it like brings attention to the reader.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. So as a writer, you want to be using those rhetorical appeals to persuade your audience. Yeah, and you'll definitely be utilizing those skills a lot in writing 1060 when you have to write like a major research paper. And you'll be thinking about different ways to appeal to your audience in order to convince them of your side. And 2, like when we watch that movie, Thank You for Smoking, we'll see how those rhetorical appeals can be so powerful. So, I mean, we all know smoking's bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, anything that really causes cancer isn't great, right? Like, but in the movie, like the movie is crazy because it kind of convinces you that smoking really isn't that bad and that it's
I
all,
watched half of that movie, and yeah, it was like the guy was so good at what he do. Like he
yeah,
like if we
sociopath.
are wrong, yeah, if we are even wrong, then he makes us feel like you are right, you know, like in a way that he talks.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what's so interesting about rhetorical analysis. And 2, like, I think I kind of mentioned this in the video, it's like we are receiving messages all the time. So like we just rhetorically analyze Green Eggs and Ham. Like who would have thought like there's an argument in Green Eggs and Ham? Like it's just a fun kids book. But it is. I mean, we are always constantly getting messages through branding, through culture, like pretty much everything. Like I said, in some of the stuff is like everything is an argument. And like that's how our culture is shaped, and that's how our ideas are shaped. And like I said, we're constantly being washed over with these ideas. And like that's, and as we see like these culture shifts, like for example, cancel culture, which is a hot button issue right now. We see these shifts and like changing in arguments, and like it's a really interesting time to like be studying rhetorical analysis, and like it's an interesting time to be alive, kind of, and like seeing these things happen, and they make me really excited because it takes a lot to change culture, and like to change the arguments that we see, and to change the narrative that has been given to us for so long. And so as we learn this stuff, and like it's a little bit more exciting in person, and when we have a big group and we can have these big discussions, but it's exciting to see like how things are changing, and how like voices are changing, and how interacting with audience is different. And like as you learn these skills, and as you practice these skills, like you'll be able to see it in real life. And like I've had students say to me, like after class is over, how they watch movies different, or they how they like interpret things different, and they see like rhetorical analysis everywhere. And like I think that's super cool. And like I'm a little nerdy about this, so obviously like I went to school and now I'm teaching it, so of course I may be a little bit nerdy, but yeah, so do we want to do another analysis, or do we feel comfortable?
I found a commercial that I can probably share.
Okay, do we want to do one more, guys?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. Oh, you'll want to unmute yourself. Yeah, Sarah, unmute your video, or unmute yourself, so then we can hear the video. All right, we still can't hear it.
She's still mute.
Yeah. Okay, can you start it
Yeah,
over?
I don't wait, can you guys hear it?
We
Yeah,
can
okay.
see it, we just can't hear it.
Okay.
Pepsi okay? Is Pepsi okay? Ow!
Yeah.
Our puppy's okay. He's a shooting star, okay? Is the laughter of a small child okay? Are you with me? You seem confused. Let's role play. Now.
Okay, I'm Steve. I'm an actor.
No. Just order something.
I'll
You will
have.
have a nice cold glass of the best thing you ever tasted, okay?
Okay.
I think you might be just saying it wrong. You got to say it with pride, okay? Okay. Oh, yeah, kind of. Pepsi's more than okay. It's okay. Okay, what have we learned today?
You want a Pepsi?
I want a Pepsi.
She wants a Pepsi. There you go. Little John. Oh, come. I've got to come up with my own catchphrase. Okay.
Okay, one, I think that commercial is hilarious, and I don't even like Pepsi. So if I don't even like Pepsi, but I like that commercial and it makes me laugh, would you say it is successful?
Yes.
Heck yeah, it's a great commercial. So what makes it great? Why is it entertaining?
First of all, because I think there's like actors, or there's Stephen Carey, and then there's Cardi B, who they're famous. So I guess that goes a little bit into ethos of credibility,
Definitely. Mhm.
and also it's funny. So I guess also pathos.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Who do you think the audience is for this video?
Mm, I would say anyone that drinks Coke, but I guess that's very general. Or a Pepsi, I
Mhm.
mean. But
Yeah.
that's very
Anthony, you want to give it a shot?
Wasn't this on during the Super Bowl?
Mhm.
So I guess the audience would be the people watching the Super Bowl.
Very true. But let's try to get a little bit more specific, like an age range. You want me to help you guys out?
Yeah.
Okay, so Cardi B is a popular recording artist, but think about her audience. So it's probably it's a small window. Well, not small. I mean, obviously she's got a huge following, but so the like it's not made for like kids, obviously, because kids don't really listen to Cardi B music. And when I say kids, I mean like elementary school. And if they do listen to like if elementary school kids listen to Cardi B music, then like that's a different conversation. So I'm thinking probably like teenagers to on up. And then two, we also have like the generation that listened to Lil Jon, who was like the other rapper in the video. So that's definitely like millennials. And then we have like the fans of Steve Carell, and like the people who watch The Office, like what he's known for the most. So we kind of see the audiences for those different popular people, and those are kind of like the intersection of that is going to be the audience for the commercial. So people who like also, like Anthony kind of pointed out, it was during the Super Bowl. So it's not going to be as entertaining to like grandpa who's watching the Super Bowl because he likes sports. He's gonna say like, what is this crazy kids music stuff? Like, who are these people? But at the same time, we also have the like Pepsi is a very well-known brand, and it's also very polarizing. Like either you love Pepsi or you love Coke, like, or you don't drink pop. But it's they're taking something that's classic and making it modern. So that's another element when we think about ethos and we think about audience. But yeah, you kind of look at the intersectionalities of those famous people and who their audience is. Like that dictates who the commercial is geared towards. So probably people like in high school into their, 40s or 50s or so, probably 40s. Yeah, like a middle range of people. And that's probably the most popular age range when we look at audience, it's most likely going to be young people to middle-aged people. So yeah, to the bright colors, the shiny, the got the sequins and stuff, or bedazzled Pepsi or can that matched Cardi B's bedazzled nails. That gives it like some appeal to probably pathos. Hey, anything else we want to add? Was this fun? Did you guys enjoy a live class? You don't have to say anything. Like it's I know it's not the most fun in the world. But no, I this is what I miss the most as a teacher, is like working with you guys. But at the same time, like Zoom fatigue is real. Like, ugh. But yeah, hopefully we'll be back in a classroom one day and be able to do this stuff in real life, because it's more fun in real life. And with like, 20 other kids, 18 other kids, students. Yeah. Any more questions or anything?
No.
Do we feel like we got a good handle on this?
Yeah.
How do we feel about the paper now?
Good.
Of course, like we're going to be doing more practice. So you guys definitely have a leg up by being able to practice like in a group, like practicing live and stuff. So for homework, like we're going to be doing more of this. We're going to be starting to pick out our articles and stuff. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, of course, you can always email me or contact me. We can, if you want to set up another live meeting for whatever reason, like I'm pretty much always available. What else? I think that's about it. Are you guys good?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm good too. And it was pretty much an hour. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Like I said, if you need anything, let me know. Homework should be up. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. All right. Bye. Take care.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Oh, thank you so much for coming too. Really appreciate it.